jumping in, let's talk about the energy that's happening right now, and not just with like this week. It's like we're coming up on the new moon in Pisces on March 10th, which is super emotional and like really, it's going to be very tear stained, I guess is like the way to put it, as like any kind of Piscean moon would be. But it's also butting up against the spring equinox, which is happening on the 21st to the 23rd of March. And so there's a lot of like, you know, of course I'm going to say like the trite thing, but it's like the spring cleaning that happens with like that mid season shift where it's like late winter, early spring, and that kind of movement. But like I've got friends right now that are literally on like the cusp of like harsh endings, like life change, like lifestyle change, like leaving the city, leaving the country, leaving the state kind of changes. And I've got other people who are on like really amazing new beginnings, but they had to like kind of like walk away from a life to get to that new beginning, which is a good thing. But there's like, it's like black and white change. There's no gray area in between. And that is the mood that's happening right now. That is the shift in energy that's happening right now. And even for me, it's like, you know, I've got some major shifts that need to happen. But I know it's like I'm on it, and my spirit guides know that I'm on it. Otherwise, they'd be throwing me off the cliff. But for a lot of people, I'm just seeing the energy being so wild that it's actually like freaking them out. And it's almost like their spirit guides saying like, hey, we know you've been stagnant for a while. And instead of just like easing you through this change, we're going to go and like just like throw you off the cliff and also catch you, but throwing you off the cliff. Like, it's time to grow the fuck up and move on. And it's a really interesting shift, and it's really interesting to watch it happen during Pisces, because I've witnessed like 3 or 4 people in the past week like literally just emotionally like shit the bed, just being like feeling crazy, feeling erratic. And I'm like, God, is this what Pisces look like? I mean, I'm a Pisces, my partner's a Pisces. Like, it's kind of wild to witness. I cry a lot, but I've never like actually, it's very rare, far and few between, that you could see me actually like losing my shit. But that said, I went to pull for it. So, oh, this is, you know, I don't read runes in contrary position. I don't even read my tarot cards or my oracle cards in contrary, just because I don't believe in that. Not to say that it's wrong, it's just that it doesn't resonate with me. But there's 2 runes that when I pull them contrary, and by contrary, I mean, this is what is like upright, but I pull this contrary, upside down. This is Tewaz, which is self-confidence, which is the current energy, and it's being pulled upside down, which just resonated with the fact that it's like confidence upside down is like panic, vulnerability, high emotional state, and that seems to resonate with, you know, what I just talked about, which is that kind of like new moon in Pisces feel, coming up on this equinox. All right, this is really interesting because I just pulled this contrary too, but I'm just gonna listen to it. So this is Opila, which is divine feminine. This is the challenge, which I feel like it should be like, you know, the one thing. I'm actually not going to read it contrary. The one thing about being a Pisces, I will say the biggest gift has always been is that I am very intuitive. And even when I was like more conditioned in like, you know, growing up Catholic and growing up like, you know, very strict upbringing and like all those things, it's like I wasn't really allowed to kind of like pull my intuition and my imaginative state out the way that I would have wanted to, because I was being conditioned to be a tiny little good Catholic girl, right? That was a great straight jacket to be in for a while, but no more. But I wasn't allowed to embrace my divine feminine truly as a Pisces until I grew up and out of that, that social conditioning. And I think it's in the challenge position in this layout that it's in, is because being a Pisces is like tapping into your intuition. And right now, when there's like emotional chaos happening and upheaval, and the equinox, which is that spring cleaning of like asking you to get rid of everything in your life that isn't making sense all at once, the last thing you want to do is be like, oh, I'm gonna like go into my higher self and being intuitive. But that's actually what you want to do. Like, you don't want to just like sit there in the 3D like panicking about all the things that are happening. You actually do, the challenge is to go up into your higher self, which is up here, not your brain. You don't want your brain involved at all. You want to actually tap into your intuition and tap into that Pisces archetype of being a highly intuitive being while all this shit's going down. So that is the challenge. And then the outcome of that challenge, you want to be pulled out. Oh, it's my favorite, fucking surrender. Not Ansu's, AWAS. The outcome of that, I want to actually pull a one on top of that because that's boring. But AWAS is like surrender. So yes, if you go into your intuition while you're going through this massive upheaval of endings and beginnings, the outcome is surrendering, but also let's add another layer to it because surrendering is officially boring to me right now. But here we go. Is Raido, which is your journey. I'm going to pull a third on that. Ingwas, fertility. This too shall pass. That's basically what this means, is that, you know, in this current energy, you're not feeling very, like, Pisces is water, right? And so like when you go into like more of your like fire signs where you're like highly confident, like Aries, Leo, Sag, you know, kind of energy, they're like big, like this is their like Rune when it's upright. But the opposite is like kind of being in that lack mentality and that panic, that lack of self-confidence. But your challenge is coming into your divine feminine, because that is the strength of being a Pisces above any other sign in the zodiac. That is the strength of like stepping into that new moon in Pisces energy, and also the spring equinox, which is coming in from a masculine centered season into a feminine centered season, coming back into like moon goddess era. You want to really take on your intuition and grow it during this time instead of having your brain run the game. And then the outcome of that is, you know, AWAS is like surrendering. This is your current journey right now, Raido. And just knowing that this too shall pass, that this is just a moment in time. This is what the archetype that you need to lean into, that Ingwas is like fertility, it's abundance, just knowing that it's all going to come back around. And so if you are in a state of any kind of panic or extreme new beginnings, extreme endings, and it's all feeling a little bit jarring because of the season and the Pisces kind of spice on top of it with the new moon, just know that like the more that you go intuitive instead of like logistical, like mind logistical, the easier it's going to be for you, and that your spirit guides have your back. But yeah, like good luck. And this is kind of it feels to me, what I'm seeing from other people, it feels like very survival of the fittest, but also already being a Pisces, like I'm already a little bit ahead of those like mental gymnastics. And so any non-Pisces who are out there that are just like trying to go through like these transitions, and like tread that water, just keep treading that water, but know that like the more you go up above into your higher self intuition, the easier it's going to get. So yeah, good luck. The water is wild out there, so best of luck to you. Have a good weekend.